What up, world? Welcome to another new episode of Blunt Talk Quick Takes. I'm your host, Anthony Wright, coming to you from the beautiful confines of Atlantic City, New Jersey. Wherever you may be watching or listening, I thank you as always. Like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel. You can check the Blunt Talk Quick Takes exclusively here out on Podbean. However, if you're looking to catch more content from the Blunt Talk Sports podcast, you can check the show out on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Substack, Patreon, and as well as on Trovo. Happy to be here with you guys on this beautiful May 23rd, 2025. We want to recap game two of the Western Conference Finals after another dominant victory by the Oklahoma City Thunder, winning 118 to 103. Definitely touch on that, touch on Julius Randle flopping last night and not really showing up. Also touch on the stars and the guys I thought had a great defensive effort. Also, pretty athletic. I'll also be discussing the Nuggets bringing on David Adelman, the son of the former late, great Rick Adelman, as the new head coach, and his interim label has been removed. I'll touch and digress on some of those things as well. But happy to be here with you guys on another beautiful day. And before we get started, I want to make sure we give a shout out to a couple of friends of the show. As I've been preaching to you guys, and if you're new to the show, again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. But as I've been preaching to you guys throughout the whole year, definitely make sure you make time on your weekends and get out with a spouse or loved ones this spring and summer season. And check if you want to make sure that you're getting some type of fun and definitely catching some type of live action, look no further than StubHub and Viagogo, the number one and two leading sellers for tickets to live events, shows, and concerts. As far as StubHub is concerned, if you're definitely looking to get NBA playoff tickets, Eastern Conference, Western Conference Finals, or NBA Finals, there will be a creative ID link within my description of this video. Also, if you're looking to get your NFL junkie like myself, looking to get your NFL season tickets, there'll be a creative ID link there for that as well. If you're a WNBA fan, like I have become as of late, you can definitely get tickets for that, NHL playoffs, and Major League Baseball. And also with Viagogo, there's currently a major tour going on right now, European Cup Finals. I've been preaching to a lot of you guys out there. If you're definitely trying to get tickets to this game, definitely don't miss it. It'll be in Munich, Germany. It'll be Paris Saint-Germain versus Inter Milan. This will take place on May 31st. Also, you got Billie Eilish touring in the UK, Lady Gaga, Tomorrowland 2025, and Oasis. So definitely make sure you get tickets for that. And last but not least, if you're an avid gamer like myself, I would implore you to definitely check out the PlayStation Direct link within the description box in this video. Sony PlayStation, more than a game. All right, guys, hopping right into it now. We're going to hop into the Western Conference Finals Game 2 that took place last night. The Thunder winning 118 to 103. Oh, excuse me, guys. I actually must say, this was a even more impressive defensive performance by the Oklahoma City Thunder. To start the game off, in the first half, you had both teams playing well. Anthony Edwards was definitely attacking early on and integrating himself in all facets of the game. Oklahoma City's defense was attacking the physical. And I even noticed that Minnesota's bench had played better, excuse me. And the shots was definitely wet. You could see DiVincenzo was hitting shots. Walker was hitting shots. Reed was hitting shots. McDaniels was hitting shots. Walker had 17 points. Naz Reed had 10. And also, just to give you an idea, Jay McDaniels had 22 points. So guys were hitting shots last night. It's just that the three-point shot wasn't flowing as it should have been. Anthony Edwards was cold as hell from three-point range. He was 1 of 9. Mike Conley, 1 of 4. DiVincenzo himself, even though we just gave him a shout out, he was 2 of 6. Naz Reed was 0 of 5. So there were a lot of missed threes, a lot of missed opportunities, definitely in the first half of this game. Going a bit further, you got to give Chet Holmgren a lot of credit too. I think he has played outstanding the last 3 games of the playoffs, from the tail end of the Denver Nuggets series going into this series. He has been electric. Now, looking at his numbers here last night, and these stats are via NBA.com. Chet Holmgren had 22 points. He had 4 rebounds, 2 assists. He did have 3 turnovers, which isn't great, but he was 1 of 6 from 3, and he was 8 of 17 from the field. So he was efficient from the field, making his presence known, trying to play some defense. So got to give him credit for that. Going towards the second half, his game was pretty tight. It's just like the first game was, but you could see Oklahoma City was slowly starting to pull away. They were playing more physical on the boards and getting second chance points and putting Minnesota in very precarious situations. Speaking of precarious situations, what the fuck was Julius Randle doing last night? Looking at his stat line, if you didn't know that he was actually on the floor, you would almost think that this was, a typo. He was on the floor for almost 32 minutes, 31 minutes and 57 seconds. He was 2 of 11 from the field, 0 of 3 from three-point range, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and he had 6 points. So he had one more point than he did a rebound or an assist. That's not ideal. That's not great in the least bit. Julius Randle, after having a stellar game one where he scored 28 points, a standing performance, to put up this type of performance was quite shitty. It's definitely not something that you'd be looking forward to. Definitely not something that you would expect from a guy of that caliber and ilk. Had his worst possible playoff game of his career at the worst time. So yeah, I mean, this just did not bode well at all for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Then you go further with the fact that Minnesota was doing everything in their damnedest offensively, to keep themselves within the game, and they were. Whether it was a McDaniel shot, whether it was Anthony Edwards getting a shot, whether it was Naz Reid, they were doing everything they possibly could. Rudy Gobert, they were trying to make sure he was more integrated into the game plan. They were doing everything they possibly could. Sure, like, okay, what the hell can be done there? I mean, what can actually be done to put us in a situation where we're going to win when you can't hit the shots that you're supposed to? I mean, they're missing wide open makes. They're putting themselves in situations where it's like, damn, we can't buy a bucket. So it's kind of crazy how things played out with that, but nonetheless, the smothering defense by Oklahoma City started to put the clamps on Minnesota, and it just put Minnesota in a precarious situation where they were creating, the turnovers. Just to give you an idea how bad the turnovers were for Minnesota last night, they had 14 in comparison to the Thunder 6. I mean, you can't win like that. When you're not hitting threes, you're not hitting the open shots that you should be hitting, and then you're putting yourselves in bad situations offensively. It's just a rat bastard situation. And then gotta give a shout out to Alex Caruso and Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams, we're going to start with him first. Jalen Williams, to me, is developing into that third star that more the number two, but the number two to SGA, Batman, his Robin, his Batman, I should say, for lack of better words. But Jalen Williams is really developing. I mean, 26 points last night, and he struggled mightily in that Nuggets series. He had a hard time with the defensive adjustments they were giving him, but he fought through it. I thought he played well in game 7. He played well in game 2. 26 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. He was 2 of 6 from 3. However, he was 12 of 20 from the field. He shot 60%, so that was hella efficient. You definitely want to see that from Jalen Williams. And then Alex Caruso. Alex Caruso didn't give you a great offensive output. I mean, he only had 9 points. He had 2 rebounds, 2 assists. He did foul out at some point, but what you really saw from him, 1 and 3 from 3-point range, 4 7 from the field, it was the defensive effort that you saw. Diving for the loose balls, being scrappy, fighting, being contentious. I mean, he was doing everything that he possibly could to put himself in an advantageous situation defensively. So I got to give both of them guys credit. Minnesota's in trouble. You're down 2-0. I'm not sure that this doesn't end up a gentleman's sweep. I'm being quite honest with you because I expect Minnesota to have a game where they hit the shots. I expect there's going to be a game where Anthony Edwards is on fire. I expect them to really show up and show out. But I just really look at this game and I'm looking so far at the series as a whole, the 2 games, and it's just very evident that let's just give you an idea. Minnesota and Oklahoma City have not shot well from 3 in this series. To give you an idea, last night, Oklahoma City was 9 of 33 from 3-point range. So that was only 27%. Now, ideally, you want to be anywhere over 35, 36. We're somewhere around 38 to 40 as a team. In comparison to the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Timberwolves were 11 of 39. They were 28%. So neither team is great at shooting the 3. Both teams put up a large volume of shots. Now, in comparison, the Thunder typically average somewhere between 30, 35. The Timberwolves are typically always going north of 40. Usually that's running that base. But neither team is great at shooting the 3. So when you're not hitting the 3 well, turning the ball over, and you're getting beat in spurts where this team could just run the break on you and put you in precarious situations, Minnesota is going to lose the series. I really thought Minnesota was going to be a dark horse to possibly get out of the Western Conference. And I know it's only 2 games in, but damn, it's looking very bad for Minnesota. At this point, I don't know how in the hell you're going to be able to usurp what they're doing because defensively, they've just had every answer for what Minnesota has done offensively. And before we wrap this episode up, I definitely want to touch on another subject, another coaching hire so far in this postseason. Per The Athletic, the Nuggets have named David Adelman, son of the late great and former NBA head coach Rick Adelman, as now permanent head coach of the Denver Nuggets. This was a move that was well respected and well expected from a lot of people within the industry. David Adelman had proven himself through this past playoff run within the Athletic article, and there will be a link in the description where you can actually find this and read it yourself. But it says here that he received a love from players to remain the coach, which is always a big thing. He received praise from his coaching moves during the Clippers series and also what he did in the second round against the Thunder, so they liked that. They thought that was definitely what was needed: breath of fresh air, new energy, revitalization, and most importantly, that he's known as a strong voice in the organization. So strong, not demonstrative voice. I get it. You know, he's kind of basically what Mike Malone is, just to a better degree, I guess, what they're trying to place out there. We'll see. I mean, ultimately, David Adelman becoming a coach is great. X's and O's is always a huge part of the game. The more important thing is going to be, though, is who the fuck is going to be the bench for the Denver Nuggets next year? Who are you going to get to help Nikola Jokic? Because you got to get off Michael Porter Jr. I would argue you even got to get off Jamal Murray, and you damn sure got to let go of Russell Westbrook. So they got a lot of questions to answer, but at least now for the Denver Nuggets, they know what their start is. They know that David Adelman will now be the permanent head coach. So shout out to David Adelman for earning that job, earning his keep. And that's going to do it for this episode, guys. Like I said, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. There'll be more episodes coming out. I have some MLB content coming out. There'll be another Eagles episode coming out. So definitely stay tuned for more. I love you guys. Take care and enjoy the rest of your weekend and be safe on this holiday weekend.